Gates are something that you come across on every single farm. And no matter whether you side mount them or end mounted for vehicle access, they're going to cause problems.
Just a bloody glorified gate opener.
Let's talk about compromises. When you side mount a gate, it puts a consistent, steady pressure on one side of the post, and eventually, over 40 or 50 years, the gate's going to move. Check out the block of wood they've had to put in to keep the gate upright. So whether they're side mounted or end mounted, gates have their own problems, whether they be mechanical or social. Kylie, Rodney, thank you very much for having me out to your farm today. You guys think you've got a solution?
Absolutely.
Yep, we think we have.
Rodney, you're about the 5th generation of your family to be farming in the Stroud area in New South Wales.
That's correct. Yep, we've been here almost 200 years, so.
That's quite an effort for any family, isn't it?
Yep, yep.
And Kylie, some of these fence posts are starting to show the test of time now. They've stood up well, but you were looking for something that has a little bit less of an environmental impact than cutting down trees to replace some of these fences now.
Correct. So as you can see, some of them are leaning over, and sourcing timber fence posts is becoming a lot harder, and they're not lasting as long as they used to. So we did start doing some investigation as to what would be a great alternative to timber.
Yep.
What we found, there were a couple of concrete post companies in the area, and after the research that we did, the quality and just the product that Australian Concrete Posts had stood out on top of everything else. So we have started transitioning to having all concrete posts. So every time we replace a new fence line now, we do it with Australian Concrete Posts.
And that's meant, Rodney, that you've now got to end mount your gates onto these concrete posts because of the hole spacing in the gate.
Correct.
And that took away your ability to fold the gate against the fence for stock movement.
Correct.
But in doing that, you've actually found that it's a better place to hang the gate anyway, isn't it?
Yes, it is. End mounted doesn't seem to, say, lean the post over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had to try and work around that problem that we had, because we wanted to graze between two paddocks and we wanted to be able to fold that gate back against the fence. So Tim, this is one of the gateways that we had a problem with when we first started transition to concrete posts. So as you can see, this gate is limited in its traverse.
So you got a pinch point there,
so
haven't you?
We've got a pinch point and the cattle get behind, which is a problem for us. So the basic concept of the idea was to have an end-mounted gate on the end of the post that folded back against the fence. But this created some other problems.
So Rodney, talk me through a few of the problems that you faced with this retrofit design, mate.
Well, being an extension on the normal standard size gate meant that my gate posts had to be wider apart. That's okay if you're doing a brand new gateway, but if you've already got an existing gateway, it made it virtually impossible to fit.
Because it's hard to move a gate post back 300 mil, isn't it?
Exactly. The other problem was that we had a gap here which livestock could either get caught in. So whether their feet or their head or something. So
yeah, right. Good injury point here, isn't it? Particularly on a high pressure point where stock can make silly decisions.
Exactly. So when you actually went to close the gate, it wouldn't self-align. And that got frustrating.
So good old trial and error, mate.
Yep, and I think I've cracked it.
To solve all of these problems, you started out by throwing everything away and you decided to build the whole gate, not just a retrofit hinge.
Correct.
And now you've included your folding bit inside the standard 12-foot gate size?
That's correct. So therefore we haven't got to change gate posts or anything else. It actually fits inside a normal size gateway.
So if someone buys this in the future, they can literally just take off their old gate and put your new gate on. Job's done.
Correct.
Don't even have to change the hinges attached to the post.
Not at all.
Now you've overcome a few other issues with this gate design, haven't you? Because you've now had to start manufacturing gates.
Yes.
You've moved away from doing a simple, easy retrofit, and now you're a gate manufacturer, mate.
Yes, apparently.
But you're a farmer, not an engineering works, so you have a slightly different approach. Can you tell me about that?
Yep. So as we saw previously, we had this that was fully open, so we've actually put mesh inside that now.
Okay.
And again,
so horses and cattle can't put their leg through there.
So,
and I see it's graduated mesh as well.
Exactly.
It's smaller down the bottom.
Yep. Now that created another issue because now when I fold the gate around the post, cattle sometimes come and rub on it and then they actually break the welds, as you can see.
You see that with a lot of farm gates, don't you? Because manufacturers either put the mesh mat on one side or the other, when cattle put stress on it, it actually breaks off the steel pipe and actually forms these sharp edges here.
Yes. So what we actually ended up doing now is we actually weld below the surface of the pipe. So if anything comes and rubs on it, it's only rubbing on the pipe, it's not rubbing on the weld.
So that means obviously the cattle have less purchase on the mesh mat and they're much less likely to break it off the gate.
Exactly.
Now those are the things that you think of when you're a farmer, not necessarily when you're a manufacturer looking at welding efficiency time.
That's right.
Well, let's go and have a look at the third prototype, because then you are able to overcome the self-aligning problem.
Yep, correct.
So Rodney, I can see why inventing this gate was so important to you and why you were so passionate about it. Your family's been strip grazing for about 30 or 40 years with beef cattle.
Correct.
And you're getting great results from the pasture out of it. Your feed has gone through the roof as a result.
Yep.
But to do that, you need to leave this following gate open because the stock actually have to be able to access a water trough in the holding paddock.
Yep.
And then come back to where they're grazing.
Yeah, that's correct, Tim. Yep.
So you can't have stock hanging themselves up or getting caught in a corner against an electric fence, can you?
That's right.
So mate, it looks like you've just about cracked it. You've now got a gate that folds flat against the fence, can be mounted on the end of the post to stop the post from falling over in your black cracking clays. It's stock safe and you can drive through it in either direction with a vehicle without having to stop 12 foot away from the gate. Mate, it sounds like you're living the dream here.
Well, as far as farmers go, I probably am.
Does this work with timber posts as well?
Yeah, so you can actually fit this onto a standard timber post.
So Rodney, Kylie, we've got a great family tradition, 5 generations of making your own gates on this property. We've got some of the old original timber gates here still working well, but you've redefined steel gates because you had a problem. You not only said, well, this is a problem, you said, where's the solution? And now, Kylie, you've leapt into manufacturing.
We have, and looking forward to our first shipment to arrive.
Just a few weeks away, and people can get onto you with the link in the description.
Absolutely.
And Rodney, you've been telling me that your family's been strip grazing since the 80s.
Yep.
And you've got a very defined method for strip grazing, and in an upcoming episode you're going to walk us through that.
Yep, hopefully, yep.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. And in the meantime, guys, I wish you all the very best of luck with your great family tradition of making gates and improving on ideas that everyone thought were fixed in place. Well done.
Great. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for
Good
coming.
on you. And all the best of luck, guys.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give it a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference. Get on to Rodney and Kylie in the link in the description and get one of your own gates that swings both ways. It is the new millennium.